And Prabhuji is originally from Fiji. He's a disciple of His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. And I don't know much about Prabhuji, but his classes are very, very inspiring and very wonderful. And he has a adventurous entry into Krishna consciousness, which Prabhuji said he would like to share in one of the classes. So thank you so much, Prabhuji, for giving us your very, very valuable association. You hold many positions of service in ISKCON as Director and GBC. Still you find time to give us your association. We are very, very grateful for that. Please accept our humble obeisances and please take over the call, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mataji. First of all, I don't deserve the words that you have said. It is actually my great fortune and honor to be in the presence of wonderful devotees, especially those devotees who take out time in their lives to chant the holy names of the Lord. Like Mataji introduced by saying everybody's ecstatically chanting. There's nothing better that anybody can do in their lives, and to serve such persons for me is a great honor. It is the life of my life to serve devotees who have any interest in chanting the holy names of Krishna. Thank you again. So today's class is from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, which is entitled The Creation of the Fourth Order, and then we're doing right now Chapter 2, which is Daksha curses Lord Shiva, and text number is 19. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 2, text 19. Nishidyamanaha sasadasya mukhire Daksho Giritraya Visvijya Shapam Tasmad Vinishkamya Vividhamanyur Jagamako Rabhya Nijam Niketam. The synonyms are Nishidyamanaha, being requested not to, Saha, he, Daksha, Sadasya Mukhehi, by the members of the sacrifice, Daksha, Giritraya, to Shiva, Visvijya, giving, Shapam, a curse, Tasmat, from that place, Vinishkamya, going out, Vividhamanyuhu, being exceedingly angry, Jagama, went, Gaurabhya, O Vidura, Nijam, to his own, Niketanam, home. Translation. Maitreya continued, my dear Vidura, in spite of the requests of all the members of the sacrificial assembly, Daksha, in great anger, cursed Lord Shiva and then left the assembly and went back to his home. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Anger is so detrimental that even a great personality like Daksha, out of anger, left the arena where Brahma was presiding, and all the great sages and pious and saintly persons were assembled. All of them requested him not to leave, but, infuriated, he left, thinking that the auspicious place was not fit for him. Puffed up by his exalted position, he thought that no one was greater than he in argument. It appears that all the members of the assembly, including Lord Brahma, requested him not to be angry and leave their company, but in spite of all of these requests, he left. That is the effect of cruel anger. In Bhagavad Gita, therefore, it is advised that one who desires to make tangible advancement in spiritual consciousness must avoid three things: lust, anger, and the mode of passion. Actually, we can see that lust, anger, and passion make a man crazy, even though he be as great as Daksha. The very name Daksha suggests that he was expert in all material activities, but still because of his aversion towards such a saintly personality as Shiva, he was attacked by these three enemies: anger, lust, and passion. Lord Chaitanya therefore advised that one be very careful not to offend Vaishnavas. He compared offences toward a Vaishnava to a mad elephant. Might be good for whoever the person is who's got whatever they've got on, might mute so that others don't have to hear that. As a mad elephant can do anything horrible, so when a person offends a Vaishnava, he can perform any abominable action. Om Jnana Timirantasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurnumitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swam Rupa Kadamakyam Tadati Svapadantikam Vancha Kalpaturbhascha Kripasandubhya Ivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namne Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisheshishan Nivadi Paschati Deshtari Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Giradhara Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Brinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Mahapurana ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So this is actually a very wonderful part of the Srimad Bhagavatam. The Srimad Bhagavatam is likened to a sugarcane that, in the case of the sugarcane, wherever you bite, it is very sweet. And then certain parts of the sugarcane become more relishable because at that time the mind is engaged in such a way, the senses are engaged in such a way that it becomes very relishable. At other times the mind is distracted and other things, and one feels very good chewing on the sugarcane, but it's not especially striking in terms of the experience that we're having eating that sugarcane. So in the same way, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, certain parts of the Srimad Bhagavatam come alive more for the devotees because these things are actually our daily experiences. For example, here we can see that Lord Daksha, who is actually a very, very powerful personality, is extremely very powerful. And that's why sometimes he's called Lord Daksha. He's actually a very empowered personality because he's given a very important role as a Prajapati. Prajapati is a progenitor, means that he will bring forth progeny, very powerful personalities and living entities, other living entities, and even non-living entities. He'll bring them forth in very powerful ways. And one of them, as we can see, is that he is the father of Bhavani, of Durga, of Mother Sati, Mother Parvati, who actually is considered amongst all the personalities of the material world, probably the greatest personality. So powerful that she is considered the superintendent of the material world. And as Maya Devi, she is a pure devotee of Krishna, actually such a powerful devotee that in the place where Krishna performs his best pastimes, Navdvipa, because Krishna, when he is at his very best, when his love for Radharani overflows him, he becomes so happy in his love for Radharani, his attitude, even his skin color changes to hers, and he becomes known as Gauranga. And Radharani prepares a place, makes an arrangement for a place that's even better than the place that Krishna has arranged, the place of Vrindavan. she creates a wonderful place called Navadvipa, Sridham Mayapur Navadvipa. And this place has 9 islands in it, and one of the islands is actually named after Durga, named after Sati, Bhavani, Mother Parvati. And this place is Samantadvipa. And Samantadvipa is named after her because of the pastime where once when Lord Shiva saw her with dust on her forehead, he inquired, whose dust have you got in the part of your head? Because that place is reserved for the dust of my feet. I'm the husband. And that is why we see Hindu women apply vermilion, or Vaishnava women, or Krishna-conscious women also apply vermilion or sindoor on the part of the hair. And she said, well, that dust is the dust of my Lord. And he said, well, I am your Lord, I am your husband. And she said, no, you're not. You're not the Lord. You are the servant of my Lord. And he said, who is your Lord? It's the same person who is your Lord. And he said, who are you talking about? And she said, I'm talking about Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya is the soul of my soul. He is my Lord. And Lord Shiva became very happy to hear. And of course, as we know, Lord Shiva also has an island amongst the 9 islands of Navadvipa, known as Rudradvip. And so both of them are extremely important personalities. But here is Daksha, who is the father of this amazing personality, Mayadevi. And he, in this case, has offended Lord Shiva, who is described variously at different parts, mostly as a person with pristine personality, extremely great personality, and described as the best amongst all Vaishnavas. Vaishnavas are those who are devotees of Krishna. They are personalities with great qualities, extremely, amazingly great qualities. I was just reading yesterday, Prabhupada was saying that a Vaishnava never minimizes another person's position, no matter who another person might be. Vaishnava will never speak in any way that will minimize that person. A Vaishnava is one who remains meek and humble in all circumstances and therefore happy. And amongst all of these Vaishnavas, he is considered the best of all of the Vaishnavas. So here are 2 personalities who are extremely very powerful personalities. But one of these 2 personalities, a little more, represents the material side of life. And the other personality represents a little more the spiritual side of life. Daksha is considered, is named Daksha, as we read in the purport. And he is extremely expert person. In fact, there was hardly any person as expert as he. It is actually described when he walked into the assembly. People were amazed. It was like the sun had come into the assembly and everything got lit up because he has so much effulgence in his body, because he's such a great personality, such a powerful personality, very, very expert at many things. Everybody paid respects to him except for Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. Lord Brahma is known to be the real leader amongst all persons in the material world, and the original creator. And Lord Shiva is also known as a very great personality, and so these 2 did not offer respects. But Daksha, being a very, very expert person, because Lord Shiva had married his daughter, became his son-in-law. Then the son-in-law is, in material estimation, considered to be a junior to the father-in-law, and therefore, out of respect for the seniority of the father-in-law, must pay respects to the father-in-law. In this situation, Lord Shiva had not done that. More because Lord Shiva, 2 reasons, of course, it is going to be a Leela that's going to play out. But more than that, it was because Lord Shiva is a very great devotee of Krishna. He's always meditating on his Lord, who is none other than Sankarshan, Lord Anantasesha, who is, of course, none other than Balaram himself, Lord Balaram himself, who is none other than the original supreme spiritual master of creation. He's the original spiritual master of creation, who actually is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, complete Supreme Personality of Godhead, original Supreme Personality of Godhead, and prefers to play the role of servant of Krishna, prefers to play the role as representative of Krishna. And actually through him, all the incarnations of Krishna come actually past him. So really they are his expansions. They are, also these great personalities who come as the Vishnu incarnations, all the incarnations actually. This is how Lord Krishna actually manifests himself through Lord Brahma, as does all of the consorts, as do all of the consorts manifest themselves through Radharani, who is also the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. These three personalities, Lord Krishna, Lord Balaram, and Radharani, are one soul, three bodies but one soul. And so obviously, a very great personality himself, always meditating on the Lord himself, Lord Anantasesha, Sankarshan, very beautiful personality. Sankarshan is extremely, extremely beautiful personality. So, in that situation, he didn't quite offer respects to Daksha, and Daksha became very angry because as a great personality who knew all of the rules and regulations of life, very much into every ritual perfectly, became highly offended, and as a result of feeling offended, became very angry, and as a result of that anger, we can see the devastation is about to take place. But the first thing was that he walked out after cursing Lord Shiva. He walked out of this assembly, even though everyone in the assembly, including Lord Brahma, all the wonderful sages, very, very pious sages who were assembled there, beseeched him, pleaded with him not to leave. He left. And so why is this very applicable to us as devotees? It's very applicable to us as devotees because as devotees, many times we are also offended by people who are materially very well-to-do in some way or another. At least they consider themselves very well-to-do. They're not very well-to-do because they, unlike in the assembly that Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Daksha, and other great personalities, Mother Parvati, like that, Sati, all these wonderful personalities. Unlike that assembly, which is a very, very amazingly elevated assembly, planet Earth is not in that situation right now in Kali Yuga that people of this world are exalted. They're not very exalted. In fact, they're very, very fallen, extremely fallen. In fact, in one place in the Bhagavatam, it is said that everybody born in Kali Yuga here are born all bad. They don't have not even one good quality, all bad qualities. And Prabhupada often even said that this place is not fit for a gentle person to live in. Truly speaking, even a gentle dog, this is not fit for a gentle dog to live in this world, this planet like that. Except that we're very fortunate that this planet was chosen, favored by Lord Krishna as the place of his pastime, and by Lord Chaitanya for his pastimes, of course, as a result. And therefore the planet becomes a very exalted planet for that reason. But other than that, we can see that there are many problems in this world, even amongst very close family members, friends, associates, those at work, those in our businesses, or however we associate with so many people. Of course, our people of our country, wherever we live, people of this world. Very, very difficult place. And right now, very fortunately for us, in the United States, so many things are playing out in a way that it's becoming very clear that this is not just a third-class place. It's more than worse than a fourth or fifth-class place. Even though America is considered one of the best countries in the world, it is one of the best countries in the world in many ways. And what to speak of the rest of the world? And so, it is a very difficult situation. And in this situation, oftentimes devotees are minimized, spoken of in very derogatory ways, offended, dealt with in ways that are actually clearly incorrect for the persons who are dealing with the devotees. And the devotees themselves oftentimes lose their own sense of well-being, sometimes their own sanity. Many things can go wrong. So here, a number of things that we learn from this. One is that, all of the fall down of a living entity in these times, and any time in the material world, but particularly in these times, begins from lust. So what is lust? Lust is actually, our original condition is that we love Krishna. Love of God is the original constitutional position of the living entity, that we love God. Naturally, we have love of God in our hearts. When this love of God comes in touch with the mode of passion in the material world, then what happens is it turns into lust. So lust now creates many other little brothers. There's a big brother, and it causes other brothers. And particularly starts with, anger, delusion, like that. And, ignorance appears. Everything happens. Everything starts going wrong. Things start spiraling downwards very quickly. So here in this purport, Srila Prabhupada tells us, advises us, that to make tangible advancement in Krishna consciousness, in spiritual consciousness, one must avoid three things: lust, anger, and the mode of passion. And yet we can see this world is, operating on the level of passion and ignorance. And so it is hard to avoid passion and ignorance in this world. Just like when you're in the sea, it is very hard to avoid water. You're not going to be able to avoid it. You're going to have to deal with the modes of passion and ignorance. And even the mode of goodness is not much better. It is helpful because the mode of goodness becomes like a springboard for rising to the level of pure goodness, of Shuddha Sattva. But other than that, mode of goodness itself is a mode that if we become too attached to it, if we become too attracted and attached to it, then it leads us to its fruit is impersonalism, which in itself is very, very awful fruit. It's worse than atheism, because in atheism at least one doesn't believe in God. In impersonalism, one knows that God exists, but one tries to erase God. It's like taking a rubber. Prabhupada says it's like taking a rubber or an eraser through the Bhagavad Gita, and wherever Krishna is mentioned, Krishna is suggested, and then you rub that part off, like that. You erase it. That's impersonalism. It's actually worse, much worse. There's nothing worse than impersonalism. And this is really the fruit of mode of goodness. So really, mode of goodness is not much better than passion and ignorance. But actually, there is some benefit of mode of goodness, and that is that it allows us to develop spiritual understanding, and from that spiritual understanding we can raise to transcendental understanding. Spiritual understanding is about Atma Gyan, and transcendental understanding is about our relationship with Krishna. Who are we in the spiritual world? What is our real nature in terms of our eternal nature? Like that. So we can see here that Daksha, who is a very powerful personality, and as a result, becoming very powerful, also becomes very proud person whose lust has overtaken him, and therefore now becomes so angry that his anger has overtaken him, and now he's doing things out of these conditions of life, these types of qualities, and the result, as we will see in the future, is devastating. It's so devastating that his beautiful daughter, considered the most beautiful person actually in creation, actually decides to immolate herself, means that she decides to burn herself up, to sit in a fire and burn herself to death. I mean, it's very hard to imagine, just very hard to imagine for those of us who are parents. And if we have a daughter, can't even imagine that this type of thing might happen. Such a ghastly thing might happen. And what a expensive experience for a father who loves his daughter very much. And Daksha really loved his daughter a lot, just had a lot of love. And naturally, father and daughter have a special bond. And that bond was very much there with Daksha. And on the other side was this amazing personality, Lord Shiva, who is highly misunderstood by many people, including Hare Krishna devotees. Because as I was saying in the Bhagavatam, he's variously described, and mostly described, like I said, with wonderful qualities, great wonderful qualities, and as the greatest amongst Vaishnavas, Vaishnavanams, Yatha Shambhu, like that. But at one point, actually, Prabhupada even describes Lord Shiva as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, actually. Puts him on a very high pedestal, because he is actually Lord Krishna himself, who has been touched by the material energy, and as a result transforms into Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva is actually just a very special category person. He's neither Jiva Tattva nor Vishnu Tattva. He's Tattva on his own, actually. He's Shiva Tattva. And a very sweet personality, so sweet that another personality, like who is Mother Lakshmi, who is herself the consort of Lord Vishnu, Lord Narayan, like that, very, very powerful personality, very powerful personality. We can see that when she actually became very, very enamored by the Rasa dance of Lord Krishna and Radharani, the gopis. There is no activity in the world that is as powerful, except there sometimes some activities are given that are also totally amazing, like when Krishna and the peacocks had a dance competition, and Venu, Krishna's flute, got into the mix, and then it became a three-way competition between Krishna's flute, Krishna, and the peacocks. Amazing dance happened at that time. Just very amazing activity happened at that time that even the gopis became very, very enamored by. The gopis don't easily become enamored by any dancing because they're the best of the dancers themselves. But anyway, with Lakshmi, Mother Lakshmi, Lakshmiji, she became so enamored, so affected by the Rasa dance. She wanted to actually enter into the dance. She wanted to dance also. It's amazing. I mean, everybody has this feeling in the heart of wanting to dance, especially as we purify ourselves, because the spiritual world, the activities in the spiritual world are exemplified by chanting, feasting, and dancing. Every word is said to be a song, and every step a gait, meaning a dance. So they're always singing and dancing. And so, naturally, she wanted to dance, but wasn't allowed into the dance arena. Was actually politely told. She became very offended, of course, but politely told that she couldn't be part of the dance. And yet we can see, and there's no man in that dance except for Lord Krishna. And here comes Lord Shiva, and he wants to dance too, because he's known as Nataraja, the greatest amongst dancers. Of course, in the material world he is. But when you look at the name Nataraja, the original name Nataraja comes from Krishna, just like the original name Shiva comes from Radharani, because Lord Shiva loves Radharani a lot. He knows that she is the best of all personalities. And so he took his name from there. A lot of great personalities, even Lord Ramachandra. We just celebrated Lord Ram Navami recently. Lord Ramachandra also got his name from Radharani. She is the original Rama. Lord Shiva wanted to actually enter the Rasa dance, and when he went, he was not rejected. Actually, he was told by Krishna, you go into that river, take a bath in the river, and then you come, then you can join me in the dance. And he took a bath in the river. He got the form of a very beautiful gopi. And when he came towards the arena, the other gopis were amazed to see this gopi is so beautiful. And they said, how come we never knew of this gopi who's so beautiful? And started asking him, from which village have you come, and who are your parents, like that, because these gopis wanted to know who this person was. It wasn't that they were suspicious of him or doubting. They were just totally amazed that there's such a beautiful personality. How come we didn't know about this personality before, Of course, he joined the dance. He joined the Rasa dance. And so we can see that this is just an amazing, amazing personality, Lord Shiva. And even in such an amazing personality, here is somebody who is also very expert, by the way, who should know better, actually, because he's so expert, so intelligent, should know better, becoming very angry at him and cursing him and really, really, really ratcheting up the unhappiness in the assembly by cursing and doing things like that, stomping out of the arena like that, saying really nasty things towards such a beloved personality, someone who is very beloved to his own daughter. His daughter totally loves Lord Shiva. Doesn't always listen to him because she herself is a very powerful personality. And here in this case, of course, he had advised her not to go to this program, but she wanted to because of the fact that it was her father who was involved, and she loved her father very much. And so, despite his pleas, despite Lord Shiva's pleas, Sati decided to go home and visit this program. Anyway, so now the results are coming to pass. Learning from that, we can see ourselves sometimes. Personalities advise us to do things, and we don't quite listen. Particularly in Krishna consciousness, we don't quite listen because if we really listen well, we can feel fully the presence of Lord Krishna while we are chanting, because the holy name is none other than Krishna himself. But our power of listening is not very powerful, therefore we should develop this power of listening. In fact, Srila Prabhupada actually once said that, that the quality in him that his spiritual master appreciated the most was that he likes to listen. He said he likes to listen. And even when Prabhupada was asked who is the best amongst devotees, his answer was one who hears best is the best amongst the devotees. So hearing really means that when we hear Krishna Katha, when we hear the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, when we read like that, then taking that information inside us, our hearts melt and our hearts change, become purified. Yesterday in Dallas, next week, we're going to be celebrating our Rath Yatra, called Festival of Joy. It's the first time the city of Dallas has joined hands with us. But when we celebrate Rath Yatra, the week before, we do what is called Gundicha Marjana, which is a program where we cleanse the temple of the Lord and the environment, our environs. But actually what we're really doing is cleansing our hearts. We're purifying our hearts so that the Lord will come into our heart, because Rath Yatra is the day when the Lord walks into our heart and completely uh, creates an environment for us that we become fully ecstatic. It's actually the best of all days of Krishna consciousness, because it is the day when Lord Krishna, who otherwise can only say to the devotees, to the gopis, because of all the service that they have done for him, that I can only repay you by giving you more service. This is the one day he actually repays that service, coming in the form of Lord Chaitanya and participating in the program. And Lord Chaitanya, as we know, is Namo Mahavadanyaya, and one of the reasons he is known as Namo Mahavadanyaya is that he comes to repay the debt of Krishna to the devotees for all the wonderful service that these devotees are doing. And of course we can see in our own lives here in the material world, the devotees of the Lord, they're very very sincere, they're hardworking, they love Krishna very much, they love Lord Gauranga very much, and of course their associates, Radharani, Lord Nityananda, Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, like that, Krishna, Balaram, like that, so many wonderful personalities who we're serving. The Acharyas, Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharajas, the devotees like that. So these sincere devotees do so much service, and sometimes the devotees wonder, that how is it that we don't feel the reciprocation as much as we should. And Radharani, of course, describes amongst the 5 major things that actually cause us distress, that the most powerful is that we don't feel the reciprocation, from others. We give out so much, but we don't always get back what we're giving out. And this is how the gopis also feel sometimes in their relationship with Krishna, that they do so much for him, but they don't feel like he always reciprocates in a way that really they feel like, that he's making an effort as much as they're making an effort, like that. And we also feel like that towards other devotees from time to time. So this is the opportunity in Rath Yatra where the reciprocation actually comes. Amazing blessings are received at the time of Rath Yatra. So amazing that I was describing yesterday in the Sunday Feast class in Dallas here, that, because we understand monetary terms better than most things in this world. So in monetary terms, imagine that I am a beggar, and as a beggar, I'm putting my hand out and asking for some change from people, and somebody, puts a $100 bill in my hand, then, for a beggar that is like amazing. It's like you can't imagine how amazing a $100 bill feels in your hand, as a beggar, when actually everybody's giving some change, less than $1, $2, like that. But the truth is that if I really am a little intelligent and reach out to people who are intelligent, reach out to people who know how to earn money, they will tell us ideas that we could actually earn more than $1 billion. Or to speak of $100, we can earn more than $1 billion. It's one of the things that Prabhupada actually told us as devotees. And oftentimes, as devotees, we did not quite pick up on everything Srila Prabhupada said. But over a period of time, more and more of us are picking up because, we're reading Prabhupada's books. And this was the only complaint that Prabhupada had, was my devotees do not read my books. But as we're reading now, we're picking up on things. One of the things that Prabhupada wanted the devotees to do is to run their own business rather than working for anybody else. And one of the great advantages of running a business is that you earn a lot more money than as an employee. In America, the average CEO or leader of a corporation earns, it's described 500 times what the employees earn, the average employee earns in their organization. So, obviously, money is much better as an employer. And the thing is that most of us don't know how to start our own business. We don't come from business families, and so and we know that business means 24/7, and so we don't want to become involved like that. We'd rather work 9 to 5 and earn a good amount of money anyway, still compared to what we were doing in our previous, earlier days. So we work like that, But actually, If you come across people who actually train other people in business, I do that myself because I come from a business family. One can earn a lot more money and a lot more easily, and it's much more fun, especially when you know your real nature. So we read the nature of the person first and then suggest what business they might get into. And of course, then there's ways of how to understand one's own affinities and then build a business product or service around what one loves to do, just totally loves to do. In our case, a lot of us love to be Krishna conscious. So, there are lots of things in Krishna consciousness that actually if we started a business in that arena, not only we will be extremely happy because we'll be promoting Krishna consciousness, but at the same time we'll earn far more money than we'll ever earn as an employee. So anyway, but as beggars, we don't quite understand that. We think the $100 bill is great, the $10,000 check is nice, the $20,000 check is nice, the $30,000 check per month is nice, actually. But actually, it's just that, we don't quite understand the value of human life as much. And therefore, basically, we remain in that arena where we are always troubled by small issues. And as a result, our own Krishna consciousness becomes affected. So Prabhupada, in this purport, is actually extolling us. He is actually saying to us very clearly that everything we do should be guided by advancement in Krishna consciousness. The idea is to progress in spiritual life. The words he uses is that in Bhagavad Gita, therefore, it is advised that one who desires to make tangible advancement in spiritual consciousness must avoid these three things: lust, anger, and the mode of passion. And so this tangible advancement in spiritual consciousness are the key words here. This is what a devotee's life is all about. And so really, how do we do that? In our case, of course, as we know, we have 5 major activities that we do, the 5th of which is the most powerful. But the first is that we associate with other devotees. Because in the Sangha of sadhus, in the Sangha of devotees, one will make rapid advancement. Prabhupada says 90% of our success comes from the association of the devotees. So we keep very good association. Secondly, we read Prabhupada's books. And we, like Prabhupada said, it's the only complaint he had, that we don't do that. If we do that, it's just amazing what happens. And amongst the 4 greatest things a devotee does, which include, compassion for other living entities, developing one's own tolerance, fully chanting the holy names with attentively, and fourthly, reading Prabhupada's books scrutinizingly. This activity of reading Prabhupada's books is extremely important. The third activity is chanting the holy names of the Lord with attention, rapt attention, with meaning. If we chant with meaning, then obviously our chanting will become deeper, and Prabhupada gave us the meanings. So, energy of the Lord, all attractive Lord, a reservoir of all pleasure. Kindly engage me in your service, like that. So, and then the fourth activity is that we always dance in front of the deities of Krishna. And Lord Chaitanya Prabhupada said, if you dance in front of the deity of his deity and dance in front of his deity, you will go back to Godhead. And of course, there's a devotional diet also that we have. We always eat prasadam. And we practice devotion very deeply like that, discipline like that. And the fifth, which I said is the most important, is that we preach. Because when you preach, the teacher is the best student. We learn all these things better. Because as we preach and we reach out to others and teach them these things, really we are preaching to ourselves, we're teaching ourselves. Because when you hear your own voice saying something, you're going to become more affected by that. It's actually, in communication circles, it's considered the fastest way to instruct a person is have them say the same things, the same thing that you're telling them in their own words. Repeat it, or repeat those words, or just say it in their own words. Like that. In their own words is even better than repetition. So these things we do when we do leadership training like that. We train people like this. But the thing is that these are the activities that actually help us make a tangible advancement in spiritual consciousness. And then we're able to overcome our, lust, which is overcome the fact that we don't want our love of Godhead to be contaminated by the mode of passion, which actually leads to misery. Passion leads to misery. And because this world is so passionate, therefore, Krishna describes this world as a place of misery and instability. Misery comes from the mode of passion. Instability comes from lust. And so, which actually is when the two of them are in contact with one another, meaning the love of Godhead and passion come in touch with one another, and lust is created. That creates instability. So actually this is something in our lives that we can see in real ways if we are to make advancement. And we will make advancement. We just most important thing is that we remain in the association of devotees. And here we can see that Daksha was asked to remain in the assembly, but he left. And as devotees, of course, this is a great lesson for us. Many times we become discouraged by some things that happen inside the movement. Prabhupada actually said, in the movement everything is first class except one issue, which is interpersonal relationships between devotees, interpersonal relationships. There will be issues. But because of that, if we decide to leave, then really we become like the chingari, what is described as the spark of fire. When the spark of a fire leaves the fire, it becomes extinguished. But whilst it's in the fire, the spark remains alive, like that. So we stay in the association of devotees, in the fire of the association of devotees at all times. That's very important for us to do that. That's another great instruction that we can see coming from this. Many, many wonderful instructions coming. Hare Krishna. I'm going to stop here and ask if anybody would like to say something or ask any questions. Because today's a working day, so obviously we have to do the things of the day today to go back to work or run our business or whatever else that we have to do today. Take care of the family, etc. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Babaji, the Nama almost Srila
Hare
Prabhupada.
Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Wonderful class, Babaji, as always. And Prabhuji, I have a question. Like you said, when Krishna Prema is touched by the ignorance, so how come it is possible?
How come it is possible that someone who has love of Krishna will touch the mode of passion, right? Like that.
Yeah,
That's possible because, that is what free will means, no? Free will. When somebody has free will, it means that they should be able to do things that are, three things, as Krishna describes in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, text 15. Sarvasya chaham riddhi sannivishto mata smitir jnanam apohanam cha. Mataha, from me, he says, comes remembrance, smritir, jnanam, knowledge, apohanam, the desire to be separated, to oppose. The word apohanam, Sanskrit word apohanam, is where the English word opposition comes from. Apohanam is also pronounced aposanam at times. It's opposition. The word opposition comes from the word aposanam. So these three things come from Krishna himself. And why does Krishna give all these three things to us? Is because he wants us to love him voluntarily, by our free will, not by his influence. Therefore, all these three influences are given to everybody. Everybody has some reason to want to be with Krishna, some reason to take a little bit of you might say, time out and think about things, and at times some reason to feel unhappy in one's relationship with Krishna, like that. and that sometimes even become so affected by that unhappiness that one will move away a little from Krishna. So these are three things that Krishna actually gives himself, and the reason is that by doing that, the living entity cannot accuse Krishna that you make all the arrangements in such a way that we can't leave you. We have no choice. Sometimes the gopis actually argue like that with Krishna, that you're so nice, Krishna, we can't leave you. And yet there are times when you're really very cruel with us. You walk away from the rasa arena. You do things that actually make us feel very hurt. But you're so sweet that that we can't give up thoughts of you and things like that. And, we're tormented by this fact. They speak like that with him. But the fact remains that Krishna actually loves us very much, and love means that one should give a person freedom. This is why Krishna is not known as the Supreme Personality of Controller Godhead. He is known as the Supreme Personality of Lover Godhead, because in love there cannot be control. Control would mean that everything works in such a way that you don't have much of a choice. The machine is controlled means the machine will do exactly what I want it to do. Then it's called a machine. We're not machines. We're human beings. We're living entities. We are given freedom. That freedom means that we have free will. Free will means jnanam, smritir, jnanam, and apohanam. These three come from are parts of free will. So because of free will, we sometimes, Prabhupada says, make the foolish choice of actually opposing. And when you do come into the opposing stage, then the mode of passion is waiting there. The three modes are waiting, not just the mode of passion. Mode of ignorance, mode of passion, and mode of goodness are there in that arena. And that when they touch, especially mode of passion, when it touches, the effect is from mode of passion, but of course when you come to mode of goodness, there's going to be passion and ignorance as well. All these three modes are together. It's not like each of these modes is acting independently. They're all working together. And so as a result of working together, the mode of passion, the effect of the mode of passion is that when it touches the love of God aspect, it turns into lust. So that is going to happen.
Yeah, thank you very much, Prabhuji. Very, very wonderful.
Thank you. Now that doesn't mean, by the way, that now that we have touched the mode of passion with our love of God, that everything is lost. Everything is not lost. It is a matter of experience. Once we come back into the association of devotees, and we suffer a little, we actually start figuring out there must be something better than this. And so then the consciousness rises, and it allows us to come fully back into the arena of pure Krishna consciousness. So there's no reason to become discouraged by the fact that we made a foolish decision. In fact, we can turn that foolish decision into something that is very, very pleasing to Krishna. He becomes very pleased when he sees that such persons who have made that decision and then fallen into a bad situation turn around and show him so much love, despite the fact that the condition is very, very inconducive. It's not conducive to be Krishna conscious in this world. It's like going against the nature of the material world to be Krishna conscious. And then he sees that some people are doing so much to try to love me again, even though they are in such a bad situation, difficult situation. They're in the ocean, and they're trying to become dry in the ocean, which is like, in technical terms, considered impossible. But actually these devotees figure out how they can do that. The acharyas have come and said, do this and you'll become dry in this ocean while you're in the ocean. You can remain dry at the same time, Achinta Bheda Bheda. It's amazing things that the devotees are doing. And in fact, it is described by the acharyas that this word pleasure, happiness, is directly achieved in the association of Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. How we chant Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Everything ends, what ends well, everything is well that ends well, they say, right? So the last is most important. What name comes last is very important. Like, for example, we say Radha, Krishna, But Prabhupada said in Chicago, he established these deities and he called them Kishore, Kishori. And he said, I left the best for last because now Radharani's name comes after Krishna. And this tells us how sweet she is, that she's the best of the best, like that. So Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, the pleasure potency of the material world. And in Gaura Bhakta Vrinda also described as Jagais and Madhais. We're sometimes described as Jagais and Madhais ourselves because we have so many bad qualities. Therefore, we're known as Jagais and Madhais. But these Jagais and Madhais are actually trying to become fully Krishna conscious. And the result is that in the association of those Jagais and Madhais, one will become Krishna conscious, because by the mercy of the Jagais and Madhais, one will get the mercy of Lord Nityananda, who will give the mercy of Lord Gauranga, and by that mercy will come to know Radha and Krishna Balaram completely, and now we will be completely happy again. So this Gaura Bhakta Vrinda are extremely important, and sometimes we feel like, we really don't want to be in the association of devotees because some of these devotees can be very hard to deal with. They're very difficult to deal with. Of course, as we know, there are other devotees who are very loving towards us. And it is important for us to be happy in our lives. Naturally, to be joyful is natural. Prabhupada actually says Krishna is joyful. He is our father. Aham bij pradapita. We are his children. So naturally, we will be joyful as well. It says if you're born of a black man, you will be black. And because he used the word black man because Krishna is black. So, so he said, naturally, we want to be joyful. The joyfulness doesn't come, he said, from working and being an employee and things like that. It comes from the fact that we are Krishna conscious. That's what actually helps us become really joyful. So, in that sense, the other side of the coin, yes, we slipped and we put ourselves in a position that was not a very nice. But on the other side, Krishna always makes the wonderful arrangement that we can redeem ourselves, not just nicely, but amazingly, just amazing things. I tell devotees, sometimes devotees become a little discouraged, and I tell devotees the best thing you can do in your life is go to a program like Sadhu Sangha or go to other ILS. It's one of the best places to go to in the world is Mayapur, and once every 2 years, they have a program called ISKCON Leadership Sangha. Everybody's entitled to go there. Speak to any of the leaders. You can go to one of those programs. And then if you see what's happening there, you'll see ISKCON is doing so well. It's amazing organization, amazing devotees, doing amazing things. And one becomes very encouraged to be a devotee and associate with other devotees and take up some leadership program inside ISKCON and do something that will reach out to these to the living entities who are really suffering in this world. Amazingly badly they're suffering, like that. So this is the flip side of that coin. Because a lot of times devotees get caught in this, why would I fall down? Why would anybody fall down from this spiritual world? It's not really, it is considered a fall down, but it's not technically quite like that. It basically what happens is an expansion comes out. The original never leaves Vrindavan, just like original Krishna never leaves Vrindavan. Similarly, the original soul never leaves Vrindavan. The expansion leaves. And it's the expansion that's suffering here. One needs to reunite with the original. And that is the merging that should happen, not merging with Krishna. If you're merging with our own self, our own original self, we need to go back again to the forest of Vrindavan where the most wonderful things happen, amazing things happen. So, technically speaking, yes, we fell. We made a mistake, like Prabhupada said, foolish mistake. But, in this world even there's a saying, right? It's not the fact that you made a mistake that's bad, it's the fact that you don't do anything about it and correct yourself that's the problem. Everybody makes mistakes too, is human. But if you don't do the right thing about it to try and correct oneself so that we can go back to Godhead, that is the issue that is causing the problem. So, people are forgiven for their mistakes. They're not forgiven for not trying to correct themselves. Then they get into a troubled situation like that.
Yeah. Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Anybody else has any question or comments? Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I don't think anybody has any question or comments.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to serve. And I wish everybody a great day today and, of course, the rest of their lives. Please stay very enthusiastic. We're very fortunate to have come into the Association of Devotees. Please relish each other's association. Most importantly, please let's get those Bhagavad Gitas out there. Every time you get one Bhagavad Gita in the hand of somebody, you are actually changing their life forever into the future, and all of the benefits that they will get in their lives as a result will come to you as well, because you are the one who gave out the Bhagavad Gita to them. Lord Chaitanya said that he has already delivered the three worlds. He's just giving the credit to the devotees. And one of the best ways to do that is to give this Bhagavad Gita out to people so that they will read them and in the association ask them to write down their questions and send the questions to you, email, text, whatever, WhatsApp. And then you can answer those questions, develop relationships based on giving out the message of the Bhagavad Gita. This is extremely important for us to do, And that way we will remain enthusiastic. And of course, stay enthusiastic in the association of each other. Be very happy that we've met devotees. Yes, there are issues in this world, but the issues are worse when we're not Krishna conscious. They're much easier to deal with when we are Krishna conscious. So thank you all again. Hare Krishna, and I wish you all the best today and into the future. Vanchakalpaturvischa, Kripasindhubhyayavacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namaha.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
I have one question.
Yes.
Is it okay?
Go ahead. Yes, please.
Yes, so you just mentioned about Bhagavad Gita. So how can we encourage somebody to read Bhagavad Gita? Could you please explain?
Yeah, sure. The best way is to read it ourselves, because when we read the Bhagavad Gita ourselves, we become very enthusiastic seeing the things that are written in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna describes in chapter 13, texts 23 to 26, that actually he loves us so much, he comes in two forms. Internally, he comes as Paramatma, who is the Lord himself sitting in all of our hearts. The fact that people will know that the Lord is sitting in their own heart, the person who loves them the most, the person who is the most powerful person in creation. Just like, say, for example, if the richest man in the world is a member of my house, is my father, like that, then obviously, in terms of money, in terms of wealth, I'll be so happy, right? I'll have no problems. So here is the person who is the greatest person in creation in every way, not just wealth, but also in terms of fame, in terms of beauty, in terms of everything you can imagine. Krishna is the best of the best of the best, right? And he's sitting right in our heart. He's in our family. He's in my family, sitting right in my own heart, or in my own house. This is the greatest house, is my own heart. You know what I'm saying? And then he says, secondly, externally I come as the instructions of the Bhagavad Gita. I come as the Bhagavad Gita itself. So here, by taking this book and giving it in someone's hand, if someone sees Bhagavad Gita, they're seeing Krishna directly. This is Krishna's form. Bhagavad Gita is Krishna himself. You see what I'm saying? And so, these are the two forms Krishna says he comes, just to show his love to his people so that they will love him again, and then everything will be first class again. So when we read the Bhagavad Gita ourselves, we become enthusiastic like this, right? And secondly, what we do is that there are steps, that you take. It's not like in one step somebody might take Bhagavad Gita. There are a number of steps. Step one should always be that one reaches out to another person and says to them, so happy to see you, life is so great. There's so many things we can do in this life that will create happiness. It's of saying some sweet words that will allow people to understand. Because the people are looking for love. Everybody is looking for love. Everybody is looking for happiness. So do things that it'll attract them and make them feel like this person really cares about me. This person feels really happy to see me, to know me, like that. And then do something that is tangible. Tangible means like prasadam, singing, dancing, prasad, chanting, feasting, dancing. These three are the most powerful. Prasadam is, most people get very affected by prasadam. Of course, a lot of people get affected by nice music, nice singing, nice dancing, like that. Maybe some art or something like that, artwork. Painting, some nice painting. We have so many wonderful paintings in our movement. There's so many things in our movement, so much paraphernalia that we have that people love. to have, some nice incense, some nice... Anyway, there's amazing things that we have inside our movement. So give these things to these people. Invite them to your home. Have some prasadam, take some prasadam out, give it to them. At work, you can always take out some nice cake or, something that you make at home and, some nice dokla or whatever else, and take it to your work and put it out in the break room so people can actually have something to eat during their break time. And just like cookies, the whole world is, Americans especially, are cookie monsters, These guys consume so many cookies, it's amazing. Make some nice cookies at home, Offer it to the Lord. Take it out. Give these things to them. You're building a relationship step by step. You're getting closer to them. And then show them the Bhagavad Gita and tell them, this book transformed my life. I became truly happy after I came to know. This is actually the most powerful thing in creation. By the way, the Christians, the Muslims, the Jews, the atheists, all have said that this Bhagavad Gita is the most amazing thing they've come across in their lives after they've received it. It's not only we're saying it, they're saying it, you see. So then what happens is that now you can show them some pictures in the Bhagavad Gita, right? People like pictures. A picture is 1,000 words, they say, right? So, show them the pictures. There's so many wonderful pictures in the Bhagavad Gita, about transformation of body from youth to old age, like that, from babyhood to youth to old age, and how we become old and become baby again, and this, this transmigration of the soul. So many wonderful pictures we have in the Bhagavad Gita. You can take the Krishna book or any other book and show them nice pictures like that. People become interested, and once they touch the Bhagavad Gita, they've touched Krishna. Anything you do in Krishna consciousness is your permanent asset. They've seen the Bhagavad Gita, they got benefit. They've seen you, they get so much benefit. They feel something good about you. Oh my God. Those are one of the 4 things that Krishna says will transform a person completely. The 4 things are, if they give their life; 2, if they give their money; 3, if they study and become a little renounced; and 4 is if they just be favorable to a devotee of Krishna. Krishna accepts them. These are the 4 ways Krishna accepts devotional service. So, it's written in the Bhagavad Gita, in our Bhagavad Gita. So the point is that, you can actually do these many wonderful things. I'm just giving you some examples. There are unlimited ways to reach out to people so that they will feel good being with you and will accept the Bhagavad Gita. Then you give the Bhagavad Gita as a gift on their birthday or some anniversary or something like that. They will accept it from you, write some nice words on the Bhagavad Gita and sign it, autograph it yourself, like that. Or, get it autographed by some great person like your spiritual master or something. Give it to him, tell, this is my spiritual master. Wanted to give this gift to you. He's such a nice person. He personally autographed it with a nice blessing for you. So many different ways you can put things out there and just give the Bhagavad Gita. Most of the Bhagavad Gitas I give out don't have anything on them except whatever the Bhagavad Gita already has. And, people take it. They love it, Once you start doing it, you become practiced, right? And practice makes perfect. Just like, you're driving a car today. And one time driving the car was like a very hard thing to do because you never drove a car. But once you start driving the car, then it becomes easy. And now you don't even think about driving a car. You just get into a car, start the engine, you move, you do so many things, you don't even think about it while you're driving. And you drive it expertly, like that. So the same way in Bhagavad Gita, as we distribute the Bhagavad Gita, we will become very powerful. And by the way, distribution of Bhagavad Gita doesn't happen just by physical contact. You can do it online. You can put your Bhagavad Gita on your Facebook page or whatever else, and people will take and say some nice things about Gita. Billions of nice things have been said about the Bhagavad Gita. Write some of things down in your own Facebook page or whatever, LinkedIn or wherever else you are. And you will see people will accept it. People are looking for answers to the problems of their life. Here is the book that answers all problems. It answered the problem for a person who had 64 million people whose lives were at stake in this battlefield. And he solved the problem. Krishna solved the problem for Arjuna. A problem much bigger than any of us will face, and all of us will face together, is nothing compared to what Arjuna was facing when he was on that battlefield. And Krishna answered his problem and gave him the solution. Here's the book that actually solves all the problems of the world. Lord Shiva describes this one book will solve all the problems of this world. The one Lord Krishna will actually enthuse the whole creation with happiness. And the one service, the chanting of the holy names of the Lord, will become the activity of all ecstasy in this world. This is Lord Shiva's predictions in the Gita Mahatmya. So, here it is, the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna himself coming in book form and saying to people, please give me to my children. Let my children come to know me. I am the Father. Once they know me as the Father, they will become completely happy. Nothing in this world can affect them after that. Any great misery cannot be affected cannot affect us when we have Krishna with us. Because Krishna is so powerful. Krishna guarantees his devotee will always be successful, never fail. We are the soul, so the body can be affected, the mind can be affected, the intelligence can be affected. A false ego definitely is affected, but the soul cannot be affected. So once we know that I am Atma, and that this body, everything has been given to me so that I can serve Krishna nicely, and serve the devotees nicely, like that, then all our miseries go away, because we realize these miseries are the miseries of the senses, the mind, the intelligence, the false ego, like that, not the miseries of the soul. The misery of the soul is that it is not associating with Krishna. It hasn't got its soulmate, just like when somebody really falls in love with somebody else. The misery is their separation, nothing else. When they're together, they're completely happy. They're in total ecstasy. They don't need anybody else or anything else. You see this in Hindi movies especially, boy really falls in love with the girl. Everything is just about the boy and the girl, that's all. So, many wonderful ways. And anyway, we can, speak more about this Bhagavad Gita, do programs where we talk about how we can get this Bhagavad Gita out. And I can say even more, obviously, this is all I do in my life. My two greatest things is I serve the devotees and I distribute Prabhupada's books. As a temple president, as a member of representing the GBC, etc., all services I do are centered on these two activities. These two activities creates everything. Of course, chanting the holy names of the Lord is what I do most. It's the thing that I love the most. But the point is that it's my greatest benefit in my life comes from serving the devotees, and by distributing these books so that those who are so-called non-devotees, they're actually devotees, it's just they don't know that they're devotees, can also come to life in their devotion to Krishna, like that.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Very nice.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much, Maraji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Do you have time, Prabhu? Sorry, I could not ask the question in the beginning.
Yes, go ahead.
Prabhuji, I just have a question in how we can visualize about that mode of nature is acting in our life, and then also the surrender is how we just surrender to Krishna, or we should gradually go mode of ignorance to passion to goodness and practice Krishna consciousness, or we just surrender to Krishna, don't think about what modes we are in. Can you explain a little bit more? And do you understand the question, Prabhuji?
Yes. I think I understand the question, and you can tell me as I'm answering the question whether it makes sense to you. Basically, the idea is that surrender begins from the internal side, from the heart. So basically, at least internally, we have to surrender. We have to keep saying to ourselves, I belong to Krishna. I am Krishna's property. I belong to Krishna, and Krishna is mine. So I have to completely, always, internally, always be with Krishna, not be separated from Krishna internally. Externally, I have to deal with so many things, and so I will forget Krishna from time to time, and I'll get so involved with something, and I'll become emotional, and there's highs and lows, and this, roller coaster of life, right? Up and down, up and down, up and down. But internally, it's not like that. Internally, I'm always thinking of Krishna. Internally, I love Krishna. I know Krishna really loves me. Actually, we should know that Krishna loves us much, much more, billions of times more than we can ever love Krishna. If all of us together decide to love Krishna and put all of our love on one side, still Krishna's love for us individually is more than all of that combined love. That's how much powerful Krishna's love is for us. So the point is that Krishna loves me so much. In my Krishna, by the way, in the spiritual world, also in Golok Vrindavan, Krishna manifests one form for each and every one of us. I can imagine how much he loves us, that he creates a form just for me, just so that he can show me complete love. You see what I'm saying? So the point is that Krishna really loves me, and I really love Krishna. I figured it out. I made a mistake. I forgot about him. I forgot my most beloved person, my soulmate, the soul of my soul, is Krishna. And the soul of my soul is Radharani. So, and she's our real boss. So I have the right boss now. I have the right leader in my organization now. And I love Radharani because she is the one who is actually going to allow me to do some nice service so that Krishna will become happy. And actually she can please Krishna more than I can. So I'll just serve her and her servants, Gopi Bhartu Padakamale or Dasa Dasa Anudasa. And this will, so internally you develop these types of feelings. You see what I'm saying? Just internally, keep developing. Every time you get a chance, develop the feeling. You'll forget. From time to time, you'll get involved with doing other things, and you'll forget. Again, you try it, when you remember, do it again. As you do this, you'll become more and more and more internally. You'll get closer and closer and closer to always remembering Krishna and never forgetting Krishna. This is a practice. It's just practice. Sometimes, in the beginning, we remember Krishna once in the day, twice in a day, then 3 times in a day, then 5 times in a day, then 10 times in a day. As we practice this internally, and then we realize everything that I'm doing, no matter what I'm doing, even the things that Krishna doesn't like me to do, that I'm doing outside, if I'm doing it only for Krishna's pleasure. So you say that to yourself 3 times a day at least minimum, like when you get medicine, right? What do they say? Take 2 tablets 3 times a day, right? Same thing here. At least 3 times a day, remind yourself, I am Krishna's, Krishna is mine. Everything I'm doing, past, present, and future, is only for Krishna's pleasure, no other reason. There's nobody but Krishna. If we can build that relationship, there's no one but Krishna and me. These are the only 2 that I need to figure out right now so that we can get together, the soul and the soul's soulmate. Then, everything else will start falling into place. Then everything will start falling into place. So 3 times a day you tell yourself, then you'll tell yourself 5 times a day, then you'll tell yourself 10 times a day. You'll remind yourself that every moment of your life, the only reason you're doing whatever you're doing is for Krishna's pleasure. Now, immediately, obviously, it's not going to be that everything you do will actually please Krishna because of the fact that, we're learning. We're like a baby, right? Baby can't make everything happen perfectly immediately. A lot of mistakes. Baby makes a lot of mistakes. Actually, I was just telling again in the class yesterday, the only 4 things that the mother expects from the baby. By the way, the love in this world, the closest you can come to Krishna's love is the love that is real love, is actually the love that the mother feels for the baby when the baby is born, right? The baby is a little born. The mother is doing so much for the baby, and the mother expects 4 things from the baby. If the baby will do these 4 things, the mother will be very happy. If the baby will eat, if the baby will sleep properly, eat properly, sleep properly, poop properly, and cry, these 4 things the baby will do, the mother will be very happy. If the baby can't eat properly, the mother has a problem. If the baby can't sleep properly, the mother has a problem. The baby doesn't poop properly, the mother has a problem. The baby doesn't cry, means makes no sound, then obviously there's a problem, So the mother is expecting, you just do these 4 things, I'm fine. Now think about it from Krishna's point of view with us, and Krishna is the mother now and we're the baby. Krishna is the father and we're the baby, right? He's expecting very little from us. He's expecting we'll just do some of the things that are necessary, you see what I'm saying? Think of me. Offer your obeisances to me. Man mana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Just think about me. Offer me some obeisances. Simple things, right? We can do that. Once in a while, think about Krishna. Oh, Krishna, you're so beautiful, you're bluish black, your mother is so nice, her name is Yashoda, such a beautiful girlfriend you have, the best of all personalities, Radharani, whatever. Oh, it was so nice, Prabhupada came, gave us this message, so many nice acharyas, so many nice devotees in the movement, beautiful deities, wonderful kirtan, prasadam, fantastic, these types of things, just thinking, you see, about Krishna, right? And then you're offering your obeisances. Every time you get a chance, offer your obeisances to Krishna, to the spiritual master. 3 times a day we said we should offer. Sandhyam, right? 3 times a day offer obeisances to spiritual master. Simple things. But in the heart, we're always thinking of Krishna. Like that. So, when we're doing that, internally when you start doing it, then externally, slowly it shows up. And then external things become corrected also. But start it internally. Internally is where it's really happening. And then internally you'll become so fixed up that you'll be completely fixed up on Krishna, We'll be in that stage of nishtha, complete nishtha means completely fixed up with Krishna. Then we'll have ruchi, complete taste for Krishna. And then everything else will automatically flow from there, The associate of devotees, so many things we can do. Most importantly, we really need to reach out to others and serve them in such a way that they will become happy. Krishna says, one who gives this message of the Bhagavad Gita to my devotees is the best, and never there will be anybody better than such a person. So, this is why I was talking about Bhagavad Gita. But the point is that any message you give out that's Krishna conscious also comes from the Bhagavad Gita, therefore it is linked to the Bhagavad Gita. So whichever way we can reach out to people, reach out. There's so many wonderful ways to reach out to people. And in reaching out, we'll become stronger as devotees because Krishna will give us Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness does not come from our endeavor as much as it comes from Krishna's mercy. It's called a revelatory process. It means it's revealed to us. It means if Krishna wants us to be Krishna conscious, then we become Krishna conscious very quickly. Why will Krishna want us to become Krishna conscious? It's because, as Radharani describes, if we love Krishna in our heart, and then we love his devotees in our heart, then Krishna will automatically want us to be Krishna conscious because it really pleases him a lot. Otherwise, Krishna consciousness is known as something that is that's causeless. It is considered causeless. But Radharani says actually that Krishna becomes really happy when you show him some love, and especially when you show his devotees some love. He becomes very happy, and then he gives himself to such a person. Well, there you go. There's your cause. You're looking for a cause? There is your cause. Try to actually, and we are cause-driven people. Everything we do is cause-driven. Something is causing us to do it. Here we are caused by the love of Krishna and the love of Krishna's devotees. Devotees of Krishna and Krishna. These are the most important for us. And everybody is devotee of Krishna. We see that, technically speaking. Everyone is, of course, as we know, in reality, everyone is servant of Krishna. And so service is part of, Prabhupada describes the word service as love of, as an expression of love. Expression of love for who? For Krishna. That is real service. That's called bhakti. So this is the process, to become more surrendered in difficult circumstances and in good circumstances. Does that make sense? That sort of answer your question?
Yes, Prabhu, because sometime even though we are coming in the mode of goodness, sometimes we are in different mode, and then sometimes even in the mode of goodness, I'm feeling I'm happy externally, but everything because of knowledge, everything is temporary. All this thing we can understand, but internally, because we are separated from Krishna. And then sometimes mode of goodness also not help us to surrender Krishna.
No, it's not helpful. Exactly.
That's why it's very practical for me. Prabhu, internally we develop and surrender, try to every day surrender to him.
Internally we can do everything, right? We can say that, look, here's a wonderful golden plate, and I've got a wonderful golden cup, and I've got a wonderful golden spoon, and I've got all these wonderful golden bowls, and I'm making this wonderful preparation of sabji and kheer and, mango juice and water and this and, pakoras and, rice and everything that is beautiful that can be eaten, right? We're making this, and then we're putting it on the plate, and then we're taking it to Radha and Krishna, and, they're sitting on this jeweled throne, this beautiful throne, and all these devotees are there, and they're doing nice kirtan, and I'm taking it to them, and I'm saying, please, I made this with all the love and devotion in my heart, and I'd like you to have some so that you will be happy, and then they eat it, and they're smiling, and they're happy, and all this is happening in the heart, right? It's happening in the mind. Krishna says that service is even bigger than actually doing the same thing on the planet. Now we might think, wow, how can that be true? This is just mental service, but mind is greater than senses. Therefore, mental service is greater than sensual service. How fortunate we are, right? We've come to a program. You can do it mentally. You can be a multi-billionaire in your mind and do service for Krishna. I am a multi-billionaire. I'm building this beautiful temple, and this temple is going to have, golden stairways, and it's going to this beautiful marble, and it's going to look so nice, and it's so big, and the top of the dome is touching Satyaloka, and the bottom is down at Pataloka, and the temple is so big, the whole universe is inside it. I mean, who's stopping you from thinking like that? You can think like the all day long. You can be completely in Krishna consciousness. What's stopping us? It's all ignorance. That's all it is that's stopping us. So you can do that. And when you do that, Krishna is accepting that service, by the way, because you did it. Now, when are you going to do all that in real life? You will do it. It'll happen. But my point is, it's not going to happen immediately, right? But immediately you can do it in your mind. Chintamani. Chintamani prakarasadma sukalpapiksha lakshaviteshu surabhira vipaliyantam lakshmi sahasra satasam brahma sevyamanam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Do it in the mind. Do it in the heart. No one can stop. And Krishna will fully accept it. And you will be in ecstasy. And Krishna will be even in more ecstasy. Because he wants it to happen. This is surrender. And when you become fully surrendered like that, that means you initiated. Otherwise, first initiation, second initiation, sannyas initiation, all this makes no difference. If you're not really surrendered, you're not initiated. The definition of initiation is not that you get a spiritual master and you get a nice name and you're initiated. That's not the definition. That is external. The real definition of initiation is given in the Nectar of Instruction by Rupa Goswami. When you become fully surrendered to Krishna, you are initiated devotee. This is to fully surrender. You're doing these types of things. Yes, you're accepting initiation externally too. Yes, that's full surrender, right? Full surrender. The point is, internally at least surrender fully. If you don't surrender internally fully, you're never going to surrender externally fully. Not going to happen. Internally it's very easy. Externally it's very hard. Because externally you're in an atmosphere that is working against you. Internally there is no atmosphere except yourself, right? Well, at least convince yourself. If you're not convinced, how are you going to convince anybody else? And be in the association of devotees who are convinced. You can tell these devotees are really convinced. Be in their association. They'll make you convinced too. Because this thing is very contagious. That is why the gopis say to people, don't go to the bank of the Yamuna. You might see this black boy and some beautiful girls there, and then you'll forget your family, you'll forget everything, and you'll become, you'll wonder in yourself how I can live my life. Because it's such a contagious program, Once you are with somebody who is totally enthusiastic, you will become totally enthusiastic yourself. Naturally, you'll become enthusiastic. So stay in the association of good devotees who are very enthusiastic. No matter how difficult things get, they're totally enthusiastic at all times. It's very important to search out such devotees and be in their association. But thank you for asking that question. It's such an important question,
Yes, thank you so much. It's a very practical answer for me also, Prabhu. Always, I was sometimes thinking to try to come in mode of goodness, and immediately we come in mode of passion and ignorance. And
You're in the sea, you're going to get wet. You're in this world, Doshini De Rajan, right? And so it's a place of misery, place of faults. You're in an ocean of faults. We're swimming in an ocean of faults and thinking why these faults are affecting me, Well, we're swimming in the ocean of faults. Obviously, faults are going to affect us. There's no two ways about it.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you so much for your association.
No, thank you for yours. Thank you for yours.
Yeah.
Krishna loves the struggle. He likes to see devotees struggle, because in the struggle is proof of love, right? When you're struggling to love Krishna, that means you really love Krishna. If it's easy, then that's not much valuable, right? हिंदी में कहावत है ना अपना कि क्या बोलते कि मेहनत का फल मीठा होता है, that when you actually work hard for something, then the fruit is sweet, So you have to work hard for Krishna consciousness, and that makes the fruit very sweet.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Very, very wonderful.
Thank you very much.
So, should we end here?
Yes, please, whenever you're ready. We all got lots of things to do in our lives, so thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you very much.
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय श्रीमती की जय
जय हरे कृष्ण